So I think I established that you mentioned about self-confidence. Like I think I said before, like no one is born confident. It's basically like I won't say the word journey. I feel like that word's been overused.
Yeah, I definitely feel like some people have just like a natural confidence. Like they don't have as big of a self-doubt voice as like other people. But it's just like something that happens. It's just like where their values are. Or sometimes I feel like some people have kind of an like I don't freaking care quality that like leads to self-confidence. So I think for some people it is like a smaller journey than others.
That too, I want to add something. It's like if you go on Instagram, I'm sure maybe even before. I recall that I think maybe it was like around 2013 when I first joined Instagram. There was this person, they put a post in, they're wearing a waist train, and they put something to do with hashtag self-love. I'm like, okay, so basically you're defeating the definition. You're basically being a little hypocrite.
I mean, like, I think you can adjust yourself and still have self-love. Like, I think if you have a goal of what you want to look like, you can fight for how you want to look like, and it can still be an act of self-love, but there's so many Instagram comments where it's like, I don't even know, I feel like you just, like, went on the internet and, like, was like, give me an Instagram caption and just copy and paste the first one. Like, they're almost never related to the pictures.
Yeah, definitely. It's like people are using confidence, like it's more like a marketing brand, like a brand identity when people think of confidence, like right now. It's not really much about what people, it's like you said, more like a road or a roadmap, whatever it's called.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, I think too sometimes it's like people know that confidence sells, so they only show that side of confidence and they don't show the side of like their insecurities or their like self-doubts or fears, and sometimes like showing that side is true confidence.
Definitely. I want to also bring it back because I think I saw something, I think it was like on your profile that have you done like stand-up? Because I understand you're also skilled in musical comedy, and I want to bring it about political correctness. So have you ever been approached to that, or have you done stand-up, or maybe when you're writing some type of musical sketch or doing some type of musical comedy?
Yeah, I've definitely had a lot of, especially in like the past recent years, probably since 2000, even before 2016, since probably 2015, early 2015, I kind of started to deal with like the political correctness of things. For example, my family was Polish, and we like used to call each other Polacks as like a funny term of endearment. And then I said that out loud to a group of people, and they were like aghast. And I was like, "What do you mean? It's like our pet name for each other." And so,
yeah, comedy has definitely, I wouldn't say changed. I would say it has, I guess you'd say adapt to, because if you go back to early comedians, like it was like this, that. Like some are just very like I wouldn't say vulgar. Maybe some will drop the F-bomb, some people drop the sex bomb, some people drop all type of bombs, all types. But now it's like, it has led to adapt. Same thing like, especially in writing, because people who write, it has adapted to more to the digital medium sense.
For sure. And I sometimes feel like, I think there are certain jokes, like I'm a big fan of dark humor, and there are sometimes where like you say the terrible thing and it's not like the fact that it's terrible is funny, it's just like the fact that you had the audacity to say it that's funny, and that usually like will make me laugh, because sometimes voicing that kind of like a negative voice in your head is therapeutic in a weird way. That's what I feel.
Definitely.
Like I like a lot of comedy, especially like I'm a woman, like I've dealt with a lot of misogyny. Sometimes I like to like point out the misogyny joke, and the joke is not that like, ooh, misogyny is cool. One, that's not a joke. The joke is that I cannot believe that people are ridiculous enough to say this stuff and really believe it.
Yeah, it's like people say like, oh, be positive. Like you can't tell someone to be positive. Like, oh, like how can you tell someone to be positive like all the time? Where some people deep down is just dealing with a lot of things in their brain.
Absolutely. And like happiness is
Right. It's like people always say, like come back to you see that with a lot of it's like when people say tell you, oh, smile. When people tell a woman to, oh, smile, I'm like, I don't have to smile. If I'm laughing at something that's funny in my head. So I think it was like way before I'm like walking along and I'm like, just like, cause when you walk, it's very therapeutic to walk. So you're thinking something just funny just pops in your brain. This one person might say, oh, you're too pretty, smile. I'm like, ew, get away from me, you perv.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ew, I'm like younger than you. I'm like 18. Get away from me. I'm not the sugar daddy type. Get away from me.
Yeah. Oh, I hate when people are like that. I hate when people like can't take a hint too, or like make something that was just like a fun time, and then they like try to make it sexual, and you're like, please no, like this is not what this was supposed to be.
Definitely. I want to also come about like, because you also do modeling, but you also done your recent film. So what would you say you're the most experience? Because I know you also have experience in the makeup department. So do you prefer the filming or the modeling or the makeup department aspect?
Oh man, I definitely like film acting the most. I wish I was more into makeup, but it's so competitive, and I'm a very abstract artist in every sort of way, and especially with makeup, like, I have a very hard time recreating the same look. Like, every time I do a look, it feels like a little bit different, even if I use, like, the same products. But film acting for me is, like, easier. It's definitely, for whatever reason, easier to me than, like, makeup. And modeling, I'm still sometimes shocked that I do it, because so many people like called me fat and ugly throughout my life that it hasn't really sunk in that like, oh, I've modeled, like I am a professional model. Just because I'm not on like the cover of Vogue, I've still got paid for modeling. So yeah, so film acting is for me is like, oh yeah, I can accept that I'm an actress, I can accept that I know how to do this, and I have confidence in that. And the other two things I'm like, I like kind of know what I'm doing.
I think in a recent, I was talking with another person, and I think she mentioned something about how all the productions have shut down where you live. So how's it over there, like film production, or how have you auditioning, or you just focus on the writing part?
I've definitely done some auditions, and I was in like a couple of Zoom productions. It was very interesting but fun. And yeah, there's definitely for a long time, I think around up until like May, production was like shut down completely. And that one wasn't so bad because it felt like everybody kind of had like a pause break and was like able to get into like the business side and kind of like, oh, like update your resume and upload all of these things and like work on all your writing things. And then things started back up again, and now it's like some actors are working, some actors are not. It doesn't even seem to be like people who are just like big names. Like I've had friends that are like small names working their way up that have been booking like crazy. I definitely just feel like the trend is like if you're not a child actor, they book people who are in their like 30s and 40s.
Right. Coming back to your musical comedy, what have you worked on lately?
Musical comedy definitely got stalled because I like just kind of discovered it. Like I always have a love for parody music and stuff, but I was doing a musical improv course at the Upright Citizens Brigade, and we like did a show, and then I was gonna like get a group together, and then COVID hit, so we kind of stalled there. We just make up songs on the spot, and it was like, honestly, it was the most transcending experience of my life, and it was so much fun to just like sing and dance and not have any idea where it's going to go, and then like try to make it make sense. So I'm hoping that when we are allowed to be within 6 feet of each other, I will be able to do more things with that, but for right now it's kind of stopped because especially in musical theater, it's like all about touch and dance and breathing the same air and having a crowd.
Yeah, it's like I've seen most musical comedy, and I see most are on YouTube. They're doing certain rap battles and certain this and certain. It's like Have you thought about diving into that, like, the...
Maybe. I'm not, obviously, I'm, like, a very bad rapper. I think I can only rap, like, Nicki Minaj's Super Bass, like, and that's probably it. Oh, and, like, maybe some Eminem songs. So I don't have, like, the best...
Okay, so I want to also bring about social media, because, like, I think I just said it about privacy, and there are a lot of people who have overshared too much. Like, some people post food pics or what they're wearing. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should think before you post or think before you tweet.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, well, especially now the way that the algorithms are, it's like Instagram wants you to post like a reel every day, 2 stories every day, and a picture. And I think if you like want and you get like high from the endorphins of the likes, you like do overshare because you're just like creating content and you're not really thinking about it. You're just like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. I don't really judge how other people use their social media unless it's like damaging. Like if people are like calling people names and like bullying other people, I do definitely judge. Or like being like creepy predators on the internet, I totally judge. But for the most part, I'm like, I might not follow you if you post a bunch of food, pictures of your food and stuff, but I understand that like some people like that, and you should be able to like live your life and kind of curate it whatever you want. Like if you want to post something on Instagram, as long as it's not hurtful to other people, I don't see what's the problem with it. But yeah, it's insane how obsessed we are with, and how much of like a difference like businesses' socials matter so much. Like that's how they make so much money, is on the social media, which is kind of good for like artists like us, but it's also
can be very toxic. Like very, like sometimes you have to create some type of balance between like privacy and then what's public. You don't want to put too much of your information out there. It's it's like, for example, it's like, you know, a lot of people receive scam calls or spam emails every day. I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but they will bring up something about car insurance or any type of insurance. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I've had, especially during the start of COVID, I've had so many people try to scam. I had this one scam that was trying to say they were this famous photographer. I think her name's like Annie Lenowitz, and they like created a whole fake website, and I don't know what would have happened if I like met at the location they wanted me to meet at, but what they wanted me to do was to like send money over for costumes, which is like something you never do as a model. Like you're either gonna costume yourself or they will provide clothing for you. You like never have to pay. Like I've never heard of a situation where that happens. But this like scamming thing was trying to like get you a deposit, and then I guess they would like pretend, and they would give you this like check, and then they would cancel the check so that it would bounce, and then they would like steal your money. I guess it was insane. It's so much work to scam somebody. I don't understand why someone would do it.
Yeah, this reminds me of a time like someone put a flyer up, and it wasn't like people put. It was like some type of weird. It was like listings. It was a flyer, and then you right away you know it's a scam, and it's like it's child abduction or some type of. And it's like, clearly people don't, some people will go to it, and that's how you get kidnapped or something.
Yeah, for real. It's scary how dangerous the world we live in is.
Definitely. It's like, I also want to bring up about, I believe writing, because I think people who start out in writing, they always want to, like, people think, oh, I want to do sketch comedy, but there's many types of way you could, start building that portfolio. Like, you could just do content, like you write articles, and then you start writing humor pieces.
Yeah, I wrote a short in 24 hours that was funny. I've done most of my film stuff that I have is usually very organic. Mostly what I write right now is poetry, so I'm kind of indifferent, a little bit away from comedy there. I mean, some of my poems I think are kind of funny because I was really inspired by like Irish poetry when I was younger, and like limericks and stuff, which are like the like rhyming couplets and kind of things that are like sea shanties and everything. So that's kind of been my main focus of writing, and then I kind of hope to write my dark comedy, but I'm still in kind of that phase where I'm outlining and trying to craft the best story, and kind of just waiting for, or I'm not really waiting for it, I'm definitely like searching for the inspiration to strike, but I'm definitely more research phases with my actual scripts, and then my poetry is like almost about to go to like agents and stuff.
Right, it's like, you know, it's so funny about, especially in article writing, like if you're writing, like, especially, like, most people I've noticed, they will write a very full paragraph, like it's an essay, like you're writing for school, but if you're writing an article, most of the paragraphs can be very short, like, you don't have to, like, make it a very long paragraph, it has to, like, be, I'm forgetting the word, but, you have to have like some type of a hook, like a narrative hook. Like if you were gonna, like, let's take a profile piece or a puff piece, and it's like about someone, and it has to have a very like a narrative or a storytelling kind of format.
Yeah, there's all different types. There's so many ways to be creative when you're writing.
And you know what I think I also was, I think I saw an article, someone wrote about how writing comedy thought, you know what, I would say it depends on who you are, like, if you have gotten so many rejections after yes, you're going to get rejection from a pitch, and yes, that's, but you know, the only thing, but you're going to get a yes, you just gotta still think of what's work, because most publications are really into the whole literacy humor.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just depends too of like you have to match whatever theme the publication decided it was going to go through, and like a lot of things now are like it has to be funny but also on trend so that it like pops up so people will read more of it. It's like all about numbers, unfortunately.
Yep, it's all about it's a mouthful. Oh, you just mentioned it, but that's a mouthful of a word. Algorithm, yeah, it's a mouthful. Can't even say the word.
Absolutely. I know. It's like stuff so long these days.
Definitely.